So you're probably wondering why we have a very unfortunate title to this video. In order to explain myself, I have to go all the way back to 2018 when I started my very first YouTube channel with a good friend of mine. Basically, over 3.5 years or almost 4 years, we produced 200 plus podcasts and videos. It was an incredible time where thousands and thousands of hours was plowed into filming cars, interviewing people, and making all sorts of amazing features. During that time, we were able to collaborate with people that I watched and admire, people like Seen Through Glass, HeartNet Media, Rex H, $1 Million Bogan, Troy Candy, 7th Era Northboarders, and many, many more. And it was an absolutely amazing journey. And after that, we started this channel, Driver88. Now, in order to explain this situation, over that time with those 200 vlogs, we did have, unfortunately, due to my poor judgment, a few videos where I was speeding. And due to that, those videos were sent to Channel 9 News, Herald Sun, News.com, every single basically piece of media you could imagine.
A driver speeds along Yarra Boulevard in Q, a 50 zone, filming himself for YouTube.
8-speed dual-clutch transmission is so damn fast.
Zipping past cyclists on the popular riding route.
Nice rasp from the engine. And when they came after us, of course, that was sent to the police as well. So essentially, we had to get rid of those thousands and thousands of hours of hard work due to essentially the fear of being mobbed or doxxed when those things are put in the media and the perception is completely out of your hands. But we continued on and started this channel and we very much enjoy it. However, this is a very, very strict state for driving, so that is something that I will no longer be doing for a fairly long time. And that leaves me with 3 different vehicles that I no longer can drive in this state. Now, doesn't mean that we're going to stop making videos. We're still going to be doing reviews. We're still going to be filming all sorts of, I guess, analytical videos, reveals, doing exposés on people's businesses and mechanics, tuners, and people's private collections and all sorts of cool stuff like that. But I will not be driving, at least in this state. In a year or so's time, I will probably be driving in another state, and then the vlogs of my cars will continue, but from now on, there'll be someone else's car. Now, that is the explanation to this story. I hope it makes sense. I blame no one else other than myself, but you know, we live and we learn, so that is that. Right, today, the last drive in the GT4 RS. It's an incredible car, and we're gonna take it through one of my favorite roads along the beach and up and down some hills and just appreciate it for what it is and give it a final verdict. So please enjoy. I love this thing so much, and let's go for a drive. If you've watched many reviews of the GT4 RS, generally the people who only get to have, say, one short drive or so with it. I can say after track days with this car and not so much living with it, but driving it on the road for a considerable amount of time, I can say that it's a lot more livable than you think. I guess it depends on where you live. What I will say is, when you find that perfect road where there's enough twists and turns, it doesn't need to be really, really fast, this car just absolutely comes alive. The match between the gearbox and the engine is a synergy that I haven't experienced in any other vehicle. It's raw and it does not let you get away with poor driving, which I really, really appreciate, because sometimes these supercars that are out today that are all-wheel drive and have so much assistance, they're taking you away from the supercar experiences of old. So one of my favorite roads over the years is coming up just ahead. It runs along the beach, so we're going to do that now and maybe find a tunnel at the end of it. There's only one thing that I think this car needs, and it's not more space, because for some reason people say this car doesn't have much space, but it has more space than most cars of this ilk, because you've got a boot at the back and a boot at the front. But for a driving experience, I just think it just needs wider front tires. That's my only thing. You could play around with the camber and some suspension and brake pads, but wider tires is the only thing that I would ask for with this car. And I think that might be coming with the Manti Racing edition coming up. There's one thing that I've learned from owning this car, is that you do not need 700 horsepower to go fast. Power is only a small part of performance. And one thing that the world is going to miss is how linear these NA engines are. Power delivery will never be like this again, and there'll be never a Porsche of this combination of this engine and this mid-engine layout ever again. The RS has been really, really good at collecting stones as well, especially through the front fenders. Every little bit of gravel. I told you there was going to be a tunnel, right? Now, if you look back through our vlogs, I did a quick summary over the last 16 years of all the cars that I've owned, and I've been very lucky to drive a number of different fairly special cars. And in all honesty, this is the favorite vehicle that I've ever owned. And the reason why is not due to the incredible experience of driving the thing, is that especially the two McLarens and the 3 RS I had, this has exposed me as a far less good a driver as I thought I was, because it demands more finesse with your inputs, and it demands more focus, and it doesn't just let you get away with as much as some of those really high-powered, massive tired cars do. And so it's going to be really hard to let go of this thing, but you never know, in good time I might be back in the seat of one of these maybe next year. I walked into this place exactly 2 years ago because I saw the 4 RS on the Nürburgring testing, and I said, please, 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 can I have one of these cars? It's going to be so special. I'm not going to be buying every single Porsche model like some other people to get one, but can I have this? And they came through for me. Today, we're going to talk about, woe is me, the terrible first world issue that I have. My GT4 RS is delayed.
When we put an RS badge on a car, it's extremely significant. Anyone that has been around Porsche or has owned an RS will know we're not just painting components and making them look pretty.
Today is an accumulation, an end of a 2-year journey for me. Today we're going to be picking up my GT4 RS. I think we should take this thing for a drive. You guys haven't met Tom yet. He's behind the camera. He's a part owner of Driver 88, and today he's going to be driving the car first before me. So I'm surprising him now while he's filming. I've got a big smile on my face because it's our first proper drive in my GT4 RS. Let me put it this way. I've driven heaps of GT3s and GT3 RSs, and the RSs feel like a car which is, say, 10% or 15% more of everything. This feels like 25, 30+% more of everything. It's just so satisfying to drive. It looks fantastic. This is probably my favorite car I've actually owned. It's not the fastest, it's not the most expensive, but just as an overall experience. Finally, we have our first track day with the GT4 RS, so I'm quite excited. This is probably the most nervous car I've ever driven on this track before. Maybe I'm spoiled, but Probably just my lack of skills is really showing in this car.
Just a special experience, the sound, the chassis, the looks. It's met my expectations and very much exceeded them. So that is the GT4 RS. It was definitely worth waiting 2 years.